least the Scudetto race is more exciting than that intro music. The default intro music from StreamYard. We don't really have a say in that, but the Calcio guys, Adriano, Johnny, I'm Nicholas. You could follow us on all your favorite social media platforms and podcasting platforms at the Calcio guys. How you guys doing? You didn't fall asleep with that music?
No, I did not.
No, maybe more at my team playing, but no, the music was okay. It kept me into it.
I'll have to figure out with StreamYard if we could put our own music. We probably can, honestly, but yeah. Screw that race. 11 games left, guys. This is I wouldn't say. I guess you could say one of the tighter races in recent years. I know we had the Milan Inter race a couple of years ago. I know 2 years ago Napoli blew away with it. Even last year was a bit. It really wasn't anything close. So we're kind of spoiled this year. We got Inter at 58 points, Napoli at 57 points, Atalanta at 55, and then Juve just there. I don't think they're worthy of Scudetto conversation just yet. Maybe if they're like 3-4 points within the top, first place, Juve, you could talk about them more. They just shot themselves in the foot throughout the season with all these draws and then losing games to Atalanta, Napoli, and Inter. That's it. But the game of the week, guys, was the Napoli Inter game. I mean, Gianni, it's your team. Inter came out with 1-0 lead. I think it was DiMarco scored.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was a Billing that tied it up late. It was an 88th minute, 87th minute?
87th minute, yeah.
87th minute, 1-1.
Yeah.
As a Juve fan, I love that because that's exactly what I wanted. A draw, split the points. But what did you make of the game, Johnny?
It's one of those games where it's like, before we've discussed many times that does Napoli have, just for fun, does Napoli have the cojones to to actually, make that push for the Scudetto, and they dropped some crucial points. And this game was definitely circled on the calendar where if they did not actually show up and get a result here versus Inter, then you could just kiss it goodbye for the Scudetto, because it's going to, it would be one of those games where Napoli would trail more and more behind them for this race. And they managed to dig deep and get the draw result, so it was Conte basically, showing that his capabilities of a manager and salvaging a point, because when Inter took that lead early on, it really didn't seem like as if there was much going on there. And I think one thing that made the difference was the fact that Inzaghi subbed out Bastoni for De Vrij. I think that was the crucial difference there in terms of defensively. It just seemed that Inter seemed a bit more lost. In the second half, Napoli dominated the game, though. In the second half, Napoli did dominate the game statistically. If you look it up, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I apologize to the listeners, but it was almost as if they, the one thing that stood out was that Inter did not have any scoring opportunities in the second half. That's how much Conte decided to lock up the field and dominate and try to salvage a result here. So it's always crazy. It's always the most unlikely heroes to get that. Philip Billing, I'll be honest with you, I probably saw this guy's name once before this game, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then it's just he made it's just one of those games where it's was it the year that there was a year a while back where Petagna basically scored these crucial goals that just even though I shat on Petagna so much, he scored these crucial goals to help Napoli. I think it was finished second or something that year. They were coming close to it. That wasn't the year that they won the Scudetto. That was not the year that they won the Scudetto. But it feels like that. It feels like you need those guys to to step up and score those goals to help you win a Scudetto in a year, in a season, because that's how it goes. You can't when your stars are not showing up, you need somebody else to take the next step up. And if nobody's capable of taking that next step up, that's the difference between a good team and a bad team. So props to Inter is still trying for that championship, and they're showcasing that they're still. I would still say that they are the team of Serie A. They are the team of Serie A, even though Napoli is still making a good case this year. Don't forget, we need to put an asterisk to it. This is Napoli with 1 game a season. This is Inter. 1 game a week was what I'm trying to say. This is Inter with 3 games a week, and they're still competing for the Scudetto. it's a well-oiled machine, in my personal opinion. Also, what I like about this game was a fun moment that like if you blinked, you missed it, but it made the rounds on Napoli Twitter towards the end when Napoli was trying to make one of their pushes, and there was a play that I forgot. I think it was Lobotka fumbled on a shot or something. Both him and then you see Zielinski on the Inter just go like, like they couldn't believe that shot was missed. It's everyone was making the rounds. It's like you could get out of Napoli, but you can't get the Napoli out of you type of thing. So it was a cute little moment. I liked it. Like it was just like Zelensky putting his hands on his head, because I realized that people are listening, they're not going to see the motion that I did. But like Lobotka and Zelensky in the background just putting their like, oh my God, putting their arms up and then putting it on their head. It was adorable. So it's one of those. I wouldn't say it's like a statement game. It's more of a, okay, well, we're going to showcase that we do have the capabilities of fighting for the championship. Now, is this going to translate into the Scudetto? Well, it remains to be seen. They keep themselves in the fight for it with this result because they slipped up a couple of times since the winter break. And if they can build up from this is great. So this is it isn't obviously everybody wants to walk away with a win, but the fact that you're behind and you manage to change their 3 points to a 1 and you salvage yourself a point is always great. It's always great, especially when they're the first place team. So yes, if you're Juve and Atalanta, like you're licking your lips and you're doing the old hand putty thing, because you're like, this is an opportunity for us because the top teams drew and now we can actually have a potential. We're in punching distance. Even Dimarco said it. Dimarco said it in the interview. He's like, we're not just competing against Napoli and Atalanta. Juve is a team too to watch out for, and I don't think that realistically Juve makes that run for Scudetto, but they're still technically in the race. You can't count them out. I think it's a bit too late for them to be like a scary factor, but it's one of those teams that's like, well, if we don't pay attention and we continue like not taking this seriously, Juve could just come in and steal things. Rubentus can just come in and I'm just kidding.
I'll talk about Juve after, but I think maybe this conversation will be different next week. I think the game against Atalanta
that's huge.
Big.
Huge.
I said before they lost to games to the teams above. They only lost to Napoli, but they tied Atalanta. They tied and lost to Napoli, which really hurts. And they tied and beat Inter, which again, that's good. But the tie against Inter was 4-4, so it feels like a game like both sides would have said, "Oh, we should have won that one." Anyways, AJ, I don't know if you're going to say anything about what.
Another tidbit there for Billy in there. I saw an interview that he did, and it's funny, man, when these players come to Napoli and they want to learn Napolitano, and he's like, I need to learn Napolitano. I don't need. I can learn instead of Italian. So it's another tidbit for him. Listen, good for him. First Serie A goal came at a crucial moment. I think they keep themselves within punching distance, but at the same time, it's as if the round didn't even happen, right? It's a tie. You went into the game down a point in the standings. You leave the weekend in the same state. It's good. You didn't really damage much, but I think like you said, Johnny, Napoli needs to continue to pick up these 3 points because. You can take maybe a draw against Inter, but the loss to Como, these other losses that like you were mentioning, I think it can hurt them. But no, listen, I think it's going to be close. We've been saying it for a while now, and it's another treat to have this Scudetto race come down to, I would say probably the end of the season. We'll probably, I don't know if it's going to be like the Milan Scudetto season, but. If not that, pretty close. So I think we should be excited for that. But yeah, and just I guess I also liked that because I was watching the game. I was able to catch the game, and I don't know. I liked like Gilmore did a lot. I think in your midfield, Johnny. Like I don't know if you were able to see the whole match, but Gilmore, Lobotka really stood out in your midfield.
Yeah, the mid is what helped make a difference in this game. It was. I wouldn't say it's the strongest mid in Serie A, but it's putting itself in the argument for the top 3, I would say.
Well, and they were missing Anguissa, right? And
yeah, like it's
and Gilmore slots in, and he really did well.
yeah, and that's the thing. Zambo has been like the best player this season for Napoli. He's been like a bit of the rock on that, and it's just like that's like we were talking before in terms of hockey, where it's like I made a joke, or not a joke. I made like half a joke about like how like the Senators are a bit on a fraud watch because they have players that are injured, but they don't have a next man up mentality. That's the difference between a team that competes versus a team that's not going to compete.
Jenny unmuted. On StreamYard, yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
You're back.
Okay, I think I touched the wire. I think that's what happened. But yeah, like teams that make or break are the ones that have players that step up whenever a player gets injured, and that's what you want to see from a competing team for a championship. If Napoli couldn't have a guy, I'm not saying to fully replace Anguissa, but really show that they're able to, like, okay, we have a hole, but we can patch it up a bit. That's all you can ask for from a player like Gilmore, and he did a great job in terms of that. McTominay, I think, has been arguably one of the best midfielders this season in Serie A as well. Like, it's just arguably. I'm not saying he is the best. He's in the conversation, but it helps because back we discussed it before. Backline is, even though it has been getting better because Buongiorno's back. It's not the absolute greatest, especially when you have Mere letting in some of the softest goals at times and stuff. So when you can have a midfield that can dominate possession or dominate the play of the game and the flow of the game, it compensates for that. So now all we need is for Lukaku to capitalize on services that he gets, and it's gonna look better. I feel like that's the one like bigger issue. It's more like I wanted a guy like Lukaku to step up in this game. He did an okay job. I'm not saying he didn't do a fantastic job, but a bit up and down with sound. Oh, hold on, wait, let me see something. But all I wanted to say, I see, because it's going on my headset. There we go. Better. Sorry.
No problem.
But all in all, what I want to say is that you still walk away with a result, but I'm asking for more. I yearn for more from Napoli. That's what it is right now.
But they're still right there. I don't think, like, I know a lot of people are saying, it's Inter Scudetto. Like, I don't know. I'm sticking with my guns, like, from my preseason prediction. I'm sticking with Napoli. I think it's going to be close, like I said, and that's fine. But I wouldn't count Napoli out. Like, for anybody that is out there, I wouldn't count them out. I would still, with getting guys like Zambo back, Neres back, who have been two influential pieces. McTominay has been an incredible piece this season. Lukaku, it takes that one game to kind of get back into the rhythm, and then there he starts. He's back to Lukaku of scoring goals like left, right, and center. So once that motor continues, and I think Conte is a bit of a realist with his team this year, where they're at and the depth that they have, but they don't really have at the same time. He seems to be a bit of a realist. Maybe it's just talking to media. I don't know, but I think they're there. I think they're right there, and the fans seem to believe it. And if the fans are behind the team and they believe it, it definitely means something. And so just want to also shout out Raf and Raf. They were at the game. I saw.
And they did some great stuff with social media. I was really happy with that. It was some really cool stuff.
Cool experience.
It was really fun.
Yeah. So I guess they got to see a good game. They're officially not on the mush list of senior team live and mushing them, but they're there. They were good.
Just below them, Inter Napoli, we got Atalanta. One of the weirdest teams, at least in 2025. In 2025, let me count. 8 in. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In 9 games in Serie A, they've won 3, lost 1, and tied 5. So they're kind of playing like Juve, very up and down. The past 6 games, win, draw, win, draw, win, draw. But they're there. And these next 2 weeks are huge for Atalanta as well because they play Juve, Inter, and then, throw in Fiorentina and Lazio, Bologna, Milan. So their schedule is crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
But at the same time, you could kind of say that, their fate is still in their own hands at this point, especially when they play all these teams. Yes, you could say the games against Fiorentina, Lazio, Milan, even Bologna, it's games below them. That's not directly going to affect the Scudetto race, but these are big games regardless, right?
Well, if
But
they lose, it does.
What?
If they lose, it does. It ruins their hopes.
Yeah, exactly. But you think about the game against Juve, think about the game against Inter. Like if they pick up 6 points there, they could be within 1 point of first place in 2 weeks, at the international break. But guys, I want to ask. There's a lot of talk now of Gasperini, his future of the team. Do you think that's affecting the team at all? Because I think it, for a team that's been so stable the past 7-8 years now, there's a bit like the boat has rocked a bit, and it's kind of affecting them. No.
Maybe, I don't know. They've seen some rocky patches in the past, and I think they've evolved from a team with, like, no disrespect, but not much expectation to now having some expectations over these last maybe 5 years or so. I would say, ever since they made Champions League, made that run, fighting now for Scudetti, it's a bit more expectation on them. They've had rocky patches in the past. Gasperini with players, just certain players just not getting along, the off the field stuff. So, is it affecting them now? Potentially, I can't say no, but I think ultimately, like, all good things come to an end, and it seems more likely than not that he probably won't be behind the bench for them next season. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, it kind of, I think maybe this time with Gasperini, Atalanta just ran its course. I don't know if the thing with Lookman kind of put a sour taste in in management's mouth a bit, maybe, and like the president's mouth a bit. So I don't know if it ultimately is going to affect how they're playing. It's been a weird 2025. Like we were speaking a bit, off air before we got on here about how Roma was able to make that switch, right? In 2025, they've picked up the most points in this new year, and Atalanta's kind of done maybe a 180. So I think it's just the highs and lows of the Serie A season. But at the same time, it's probably in the back of their minds. It's for sure. I think they were able to accomplish what they were able to accomplish last season with the Europa League is definitely something that they'll hold on to. Again, I don't know if they're going to be able to get over the Scudetto hump under Gasperini. It would need quite a bit to end off the season, and they'll need certain things to go their way and favorably. But it's kind of just where they're at currently. So I don't know, Johnny. I don't know if you think, is it affecting them? Like, for me, it's there, but I don't think it's the ultimate factor that's maybe affecting their play. Personally,
I wouldn't think so. In terms of the whole Lukaman situation, I don't think that's playing as much as a factor. I mean, we said it, like we were saying it like years before, like maybe Gasperini's time is up at Atalanta, and then the next thing you know, they win Europa League. It's
true.
I think he goes when he wants to go. Yeah, what do you want? Sorry, my cat's meowing right next to me. Hold on, come on the show. Hey,
what does she think? Maybe she thinks,
yeah, let's
in or out.
Let's get Nebbia's opinion on this. Anyways, whatever, she wants to go eat. I think Gasperini leaves when Gasperini wants to leave. That's the way I see it. I think that they're on the cusp of being potentially a Scudetto winning team, and like I'm looking at this as an owner's perspective, right? Like we just want a major trophy with this manager. We're a team that's competing for the league title right now. Like I'm doing everything I can to convince Gasperini to stay. Like, as an owner, I want Gasperini to stay because he's been getting these results for the team, and it's only fair. Other than it's only fair, visually, I can see him as the only coach to get them there because this is his team. This is his system. This is what he's created, right? And he developed.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm Gasperini, like, obviously, if you're looking at other offers elsewhere, sure, but it doesn't make sense to leave at the end of the season, especially when you've gotten your team to progress so far. You've brought them to where they are today, and yes, you've been there for a long, long time, but it's been yielding results, and you're getting accolades. You're getting, like, you've won a trophy, a major trophy. You have players that have become known because of your system and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it would be foolish for him to leave at the end of the year if he wants to. I think if I'm Gasperini, like, especially that you're making the Scudetto push, like, I think this is argument to say, like, okay, we're almost there. We're like 1 or 2 pieces away to actually legitimately have a shot at the title. And if Atalanta gets there to winning the league championship, it's on pure merit. Like, it's not going to be one of those championships that it's like, oh, you know, they got lucky with this or that. No, like, they built up towards this. And removing Gasperini from there just brings that all back. So from an ownership perspective, you don't do that because now your team's no longer going to be competitive, and you're not going to be attracting the most lucrative names to come to Bergamo. As beautiful as like, you know, like, well off Bergamo is and stuff, and especially that Atalanta owns their own stadium, right? It's like, yeah, they're one of the teams that actually own their own stadiums, if I'm not mistaken. Can you fact check me on that?
With the American ownership, potentially the Pagliucas. I don't know if I think
they're one of the teams that own their own stadiums. It was Juve. I think it's Juve, Atalanta, and I think
Udinese.
I think it's Udinese.
Sassuolo. Didn't
Sassuolo.
Sassuolo? I mean, they're not. Yeah, pretty sure
Yeah,
they. I think it might be wrong about that one.
You mind checking that while I'm on my little rant here, if that's okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Nick, fact check for us that, please. Thank you.
Producer, please.
Nerd searching up stats.
But still, like, like, you're doing all these right things and, like, all these little pieces. Yes, Gasperini, every once in a while he says a controversial thing. Yes, every once in a while Gasperini acts like an idiot, and he's not the most beloved guy. He's a very hated guy. But if you're a sports team, you just want to win. You don't care. You don't care if people like you or not. You don't care if you're the most, like, well-liked team in the world. Sportsmanship awards. Who cares? People are only going to talk about champion. Like, it sucks to say, like, the true diehard fans are going to talk about, like, this player was phenomenal. That player was great. This team, oh man,
we won this, we won that.
Yeah, but like, at the end of the day, everyone is only going to be like, okay, yeah, but what championship did you win? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Nobody's going to remember the 2018 Atalanta or whatever.
Yeah,
or the 2023 Atalanta team.
Like, I have the biggest love for like the mid 2000s Roma teams, you know, or like even towards the late 2000s of like the Lamella years and stuff. Where it's like these guys are just like these players are just like they look good and stuff, and it's just they play okay and they just never get there, you know. Or like the Napoli, the famous Napoli trident of Hamsik, Lavezzi, and Cavani. It's like, cool. What did you get out of it? A Coppa Italia or two? You know what I mean? Like, it's nice.
Won't forget, though. The streets won't forget.
The streets don't forget. But that's what I'm saying. Only the diehard fans don't forget. So for Atalanta's case, you know, like, you won a major European title. Yeah. You're fighting for the league title just to land the plane home. I think Gasperini leaving just tears down everything that they have built. The only time where it makes sense for Gasperini to leave is if he starts setting up the team or the system in a way where if a new coach were to come in, it's not like as if they're going to have to take like decades upon decades of work to like implement their way. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's they leave him in bad hands after.
Like, his roots are too embedded in the soil of Bergamo. That's the best way I can, like, to pull up that tree is going to be tough. Anyways,
so don't listen to the reports, guys, because I was seeing that Gasperini potentially leave by the end of the season. So don't listen to the reports. Listen to Johnny.
It could happen. It could happen, but I think it's foolish. Nick,
but I also think, like, this is his 9th season, and
already, wow.
Like, eventually, you know, the chapter has to end, right? Things, you know, don't last forever. This is probably his best chance to win a Scudetto. Yes, it sucks. They're out of Coppa Italia. They're out of Champions League. But that could be a blessing in disguise. They're 4 points behind, guys. They're right there.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but they need things to go their way, and they need to continue winning.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's obviously going to be tough, but that game against Inter, if that's a do or die game right there. If they win that game, they're giving themselves a massive, chance at a Scudetto. But no, I think it'll be interesting with them. What happens in the future, whether Gasperi stays for that 10th season or not.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but listen. They've had a good mercato. I think they brought in good players. They've let go of players. They've, like Johnny said, they've done it all. So I don't know. It'll be tough. I don't know. Again, like I was saying, if you read the reports, it looks like it's going south, but you never know. If they happen to magically pull off the Scudetto this season, does he wave on that high? Does he try for that 10th season? If they don't make it, only time will tell. Right now, he has his leading striker as the Capocannoniere of the league. Nerazzurri, he has 21 goals. So they're doing things right, guys. I think, listen, there's a bit of a lull in every season for every team. And maybe it's just one of those things. It's not coming at an ideal time when there's only, 10, 11 matches left to end the season. So it's that's not ideal, but at the same time, you never know. It's other teams can slip up and they can make ground, and we're singing a different tune after the international break, let's say. So we'll see.